to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin our presentations, and we have several, we do have a very important, I don't even want to use the word announcement, but we will have our interim acting chief, Danny Hughs. Where did you go? He is going to address the crowd tonight regarding Kelly Thomas, and then we will be having Ron Thomas do a 3-minute presentation, and then we will go back to our presentations, and any comments after that will be a public comment. So a little bit out of order, we're going to have Acting Chief Danny Hughs address the public regarding Kelly Thomas, then Mr. Thomas will speak for 3 minutes, and then we will close that period, and we will go back to our presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and members of the City Council, Danny Hughs, your Acting Chief of Police. In the past year, there has been a request from Ron Thomas to clear the name of his son, Kelly Thomas. The Mayor and City Council have asked me to work with Mr. Thomas in an effort to understand what that exactly means. And working with him, we have jointly agreed on the following. Number one, on the night of July 5th, 2011, Kelly Thomas was in possession of a backpack. Inside that backpack was a passport, a computer tablet, mail addressed to an attorney, and keys to a Lexus vehicle. None of these items belonged to Kelly Thomas. It was later learned after the date of the incident that the owner of the backpack inadvertently left his backpack in a public place, and that the keys, the passport, and the computer tablet belonged to the owner of that backpack. It was also later determined the attorney to whom the mail in the backpack was addressed had thrown the mail away in a public trash can. There is no evidence of which the Fullerton Police Department is now aware that Kelly Thomas stole the backpack or its contents. Number two, none of the officers involved in the Kelly Thomas incident suffered any broken bones, as was initially reported by the hospital. On the night of the incident, hospital officials provided a doctor's first report form indicating a diagnosis of fractured ribs involving one of the officers, and another officer required minor surgery, but subsequent doctor visits revealed the ribs were strained and not fractured. Finally, on July 5th, 2011, the Fullerton Police Department received a report from a citizen who advised the Fullerton Police Department she observed Kelly Thomas attempting to break into the vehicle. This was the only call received regarding such observations. With the exception of this report, there is no evidence of which the Fullerton Police Department is now aware that Kelly Thomas actually tried to steal anything from any of the vehicles in the lot. These were the 3 items that Mr. Thomas requested that I address in an effort to clear his name. That will be it. Thank you.
Thank you. And before Mr. Thomas comes up, I would like to acknowledge Kathy Thomas, the mother of Kelly Thomas, and we thank you for being here, Kathy, and if you would like to make any comments, thank you. All right. Mr. Thomas?
Odds are I won't get through this without this putting it down. It's been a very long process for us. Very long process for Kelly's Army. For many of you in the City Council. I need to thank Captain Hughs for working with me, for doing this. Because it's the right thing to do. 14 months ago, when all this information came out, Kelly was looked at as a criminal, doing horrible things, and possibly burglarizing. Independent investigator Michael Giannaco cleared that up in 2 different reports. but I had to hear from the police department. Again, I really want to thank you, Danny Hughs, for doing this. We have talked many times about working together, rebuilding. This is another huge step in that effort. Once again, I absolutely do not think that the men and women of the Fullerton Police Department at this point are bad officers. I've never said that. I have no reason to believe that. I want to thank them for what they do. Recently, the person that was vandalizing Kelly's memorial was caught by the Fullerton Police Department. Thank you. I don't know how much longer I'm going to address this council. Over 14 months, I've chipped away, and with the help of so many people, even across the nation, and members of this council, even before you were council members, have helped achieve many milestones, many goals. I want to invite the citizens of Fullerton to really get involved now and continue with what I've been doing. Captain Hughs and I agree on an awful lot of things, but not on everything. A lot of the public feels there are still 3 officers that need to be terminated or dealt with. I encourage them to follow their hearts and do whatever needs to be done, whether it's protest, whatever, meetings with the chief, with the council, and do what the citizens of Fullerton need to do. It's very important to heal. Again, I guess I just want to thank everybody for what they've done all this time, especially Kelly's Army. And, you know, that includes people that have recently gone in another direction, perhaps, and are doing other things besides the Kelly's Army. For so long, they were instrumental in what they had done. So I want to thank them, too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
September 18th, 2012. The last time we spoke was in front of Kelly's memorial, and you had said it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Here we are, fast forward. A couple months go by, we went to hear about the trial, and tell us what happened at the trial. That it got postponed, correct?
Yeah, the trial hasn't started yet. There is not a trial date at this point. DA is estimating maybe in February. The last court appearance was delayed. But that was key. It allowed the district attorney enough time to collect the rest of his evidence, analyze it, have legal experts come in, and give the amount of time he needed to get the Orange County grand jury together to issue an indictment for Wolf. And that's what they're going to do tomorrow morning, is convene to issue an indictment for Wolf.
So you're saying the grand jury is going to convene in a session, and when did you hear about this? This is huge news.
Yeah, it's huge. Heard about it this morning. It was broke. Actually, Wolf's attorney had talked to a couple of the media personnel who contacted me and let me know. And she just let it all out there that it was going to happen tomorrow morning. So.
Well, this is something we've been waiting for a long time, but let's talk about why we're here today. We kind of jumped again, we get very excited, but we're here today at City Council headquarters because there was a great announcement by Chief Danny Hughs. Can you tell us about how that came about and what was said today?
The whole idea of Hughes speaking tonight, him and I had been working together the last couple of weeks. You know, I've mentioned now for well over a year I needed Kelly's name cleared. Well, independent investigator Michael Janaka has done that on a couple of different occasions. But I needed the police department to do it because the police department is the one that came out and said he had stolen this and he had stolen that, and he had broke officers' bones and he's breaking into cars. And tonight Dan Hughs cleared all of that. None of it happened, and he went on record as saying so. So this is huge for the police department to clear him of everything that he was accused of.
And how does that feel to you after all this time protesting, the world attention, so much pressure on you and your ex-wife Kathy? Kelly's mother is in the audience. I know she was overwhelmed and she couldn't speak. What kind of a stepping stone or milestone does this set for you? Because there's much work.
Well, it's another step in the right direction. It was huge in the fact that it had to be done. So people had the proper perspective of Kelly, who he was. And now it's very clear to everyone that he was just a citizen out minding his own business, doing nothing. Now, the police officers got a call for service. They had every right to be there. They should have been there. They were called to be there. But once they got there, they handled it completely wrong. But to clear Kelly's name is just so key to let everybody know he was just a private citizen in the community where he lived, minding his own business. He was toyed with, he was taunted, he was harassed, he was played with, and then he was beaten to death.
Now, we heard a lot of the folks in there that are speaking up at the dais to the council and those that are continuing to protest that there are 3 officers left out there that need to be punished, prosecuted. There's some more work to be done, and there's 3 or 4 officers. Can you speak to what's next for you for Kelly's Army, or what you expect your next move will be?
Well, I expect the citizens of Fullerton to finally step up. I don't even live in Fullerton, and I've been doing all of this for them. They need to get involved. This is their community, and like any army, I'll put it that way, that goes to another country and fights in a war, towards the end of that, there's only so much time they're going to spend there, and they start training the forces of that country. And that's what's had to have happened here. These people in Fullerton need to start taking accountability for their city. I came in, I tore it down, cleaned it up with the help of a lot of people, but I did it. Policies, procedures, personnel changes, lots of stuff, task force committees, I mean, just on and on and on. I did that, not the citizens of Fullerton. They need to get on board here, or it's going to be no time at all. It's going to go right back where it was.
We see a lot of Kelly's Army members now going to different cities, and where it comes to any kind of corruption with police departments. So you've really set a precedent when you started this Kelly's Army. Who knew that it was going to be so far and wide-reaching? And the point is here, I guess folks need to really pay attention when something happens in their community, because it may take just a band of regular folks coming from all over to come together to make a difference, and maybe that difference will help their son or daughter, correct?
Well, it has happened, and right from the beginning, as we all got together and we're out there, demanding justice for Kelly. The first thing that comes to my mind is all the supporters for Michael Jackson. Justice for Michael Jackson. They started using our phrases, our terms, because they worked. So I've noticed this all over the nation, and it's even in Europe where they're demanding justice for this guy or that guy, and that's what they're looking for. Now the videoing of police officers in action doing their job is just rampant, and it's fantastic that the people are now taking their streets back from corrupt police officers who were never held in check before. And Kelly's Army had everything to do with that. This whole movement had everything to do with that, holding people accountable. Occupy's been here. The Oath Keepers have been here. Anonymous has been here. Everybody working together. We, the people, have taken it back, and we're not going to put up with it. So again, the citizens of Fullerton need to keep going down that road and hold everybody accountable, always.
One more question for you. We have heard that many folks compare this Kelly's murder and all of this that has happened to the Rodney King incident in a way that it's kind of like before Kelly, there was Rodney King, and then because of Kelly, there's a new precedent with all kinds of levels, not only with the police department, brutality, with homeless people, and many other issues that have come out because of what happened to your son. How do you see those 2 items, and how do you see the future hopefully changed forever because of what happened to your son?
Yeah, I don't see a true comparison between Rodney King and Kelly. There's no doubt Rodney King was horribly beat with batons. He was trying to give defensive moves with his arms just to protect himself, and they beat him. But it's no comparison what they did with Kelly, none at all. And, it's the whole movement. Rodney King didn't have a father like me to come in and avenge his death, his murder. And I guess one of the other biggest differences is why Rodney King walked away with, about $3 million, and Kelly didn't walk away.
Thank you, Ron. I know this isn't over, and you said it'll never be over until we get
justice for Kelly. Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll continue this. Stay tuned.